Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again. And so are these fans. It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years. The Red Sox are world champions.
Boston organization has been well run for a long time now. From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight. And the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Red Sox have won the World Championship. The Boston Red Sox beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-1. They win the World Series 4-1. And the Red Sox become the first team in the 21st century with 4 World Championships. Can you believe it?
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Pesky Podcast. I am the Ritt. Here with me is my man, DC, Anthony on the Cape. Guys, what's going on?
What's going on, buddy?
What's up?
Episode 8. I can't believe we made it this far and haven't been canceled yet. People still want to hear us, which is a surprise, but man, this is the biggest week for the Pesky Podcast. We're dropping this off at Sunday night. Then Wednesday, we had a big announcement. The legendary Keith Folk will be on with us, along with Sox Addict. Thursday, opening day, we're having a big live event. We got some great people coming on. Friday, man, another podcast. We'll be on there with your boy Josh Lynn, talking about the rest of the Red Sox Baltimore Orioles series. Man, we are just action-packed this week. But let's catch up a little bit. Let's start with you, DC. What's been going on, man? Any thoughts? Any news going your way?
I mean, not too much going on really at all. Just had some family time today. Just hung out with the family. My dad came with us. Went on a nice little train ride. Just stoked for the week, man. It's a big announcement that we got. Sox Addict came through for us big. To be honest with you, that's pretty sweet. So I'm just trying hard not to fangirl and think of some good questions for our man Keith Folk.
Oh man, I can't wait. She has done and gone way above and beyond anybody that I could sit there and thought of to help us out. So Anthony, what about you? What's been going on with you this week?
Yeah, no, just been busy. I mean, I kind of laid low a little bit, sort of on Twitter, just kind of gotten burnt out with all the, I mean, Tony Maserati, he deleted his Twitter, or deactivated his Twitter, which is tough. And it's just the whole thing with the cancel culture. We kind of talked about it last time with everything. It just kind of drained me a little bit, and I just needed a little break to recharge my battery. And I was back today, and I'm just excited for opening day. I'm excited to talk to Keith Folk, and like you said, Sox Addict coming through clutch.
Yeah, she's kind of like our closer. We sit there and we set up. We have a good starting. We have a long relief, and then she comes in and just closes out the Keith Folk deal for us. That's just amazing. I can't wait. I know a lot of people have been, chirping, wanting to hear what's going on. DC, man, he sit there and threw up a great Marcelo Meyer card. Man,
saw that. Yeah, that was a beauty.
We gained 100 Twitter followers.
Wow.
Since he dropped that card. It's amazing how quick we're growing, and just the people that enjoy the podcast itself.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We got many more cards to come too. I'm sure as we go along with this too, we'll have other stuff to give away. But
yeah.
I have a bunch on deck. I got one more Marcelo Meyer to give away at some point. Tristan Cassis, rookie. Nomar game worn jersey patch card. David Ortiz jersey or game worn jersey card. Yeah, so just keep listening and watch out for the Twitter.
Yeah.
And we'll be announcing that winner on Thursday before the game.
Yeah, we're going to tune in Thursday on our YouTube page, Twitch, Twitter. It's going to be all live. So check us out there. But
Who won the Meyer card, by the way?
No, we're drawing that opening day.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, I got you. Actually, just the post that you're giving it away gained 100. I got you.
Yeah.
Because we only give away stuff to actual subscribers, right?
Yes.
Followers and stuff.
Yeah, you got to follow, like, retweet, and tag. There's 4 things you had to do to be entered. So I got to kind of cipher through all the people that did, and see who did all 4 of them, because I know there's some out there that didn't. So if you hear this and you're not sure if you retweeted or tagged somebody or the other 2, you might want to get back on there.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally, who knows what that card's going to be worth, right? When this guy's tearing up the league and he's a franchise shortstop for us, I mean, that's a nice card. Bowman, always a classic,
Yeah, first one too. So
yeah. So
that's huge.
Oh man, last week the WBC ended. Team Japan won, and let's just talk a little bit about the final. Like, everybody was talking about, oh man, Ohtani versus Trout. Man, this is stuff that people have been dying to see. But they're acting like it was who was the playoff guy that took Eckersley yard?
Kirk Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson. Like, they're talking like it was that. Like, that was a moment. Like, Ohtani just overpowered Trout. It was 5 pitches, ridiculous. So, Anthony, well, what were your thoughts on the whole process there?
I enjoyed the WBC. Just figuring out, this kind of the schedule and everything, like what channels it was on, and there was some late games, but I enjoyed it. And I thought Japan really impressed me as usual. I just like the way they play. It felt like almost a very complete team. Like, they didn't have like a superstar shortstop, but they had a shortstop who was really good at baseball, right? He knew how to run the bases. He knew how to handle the bat and get the bunt down. He knew how to field his position. So it was like they almost looked like a great team, right? I thought they were the best team, whereas other teams were collections of superstars. Japan was an actual team. And the way they played and the way it was managed, I thought the manager was a phenomenal manager. And obviously you had studs, like Shohei and Yoshi. So I was impressed with Japan, man, for sure. And I just feel like we kind of got let down because we didn't have our pitching. We didn't have the pitching we needed to win it all. And it really showed up when you have to start Merrill Kelly in the championship game. I'm sorry. I just don't think that's good enough. I would have, if we had Wainwright on the mound, I would have been fine with it, but not Merrill Kelly, guys.
Man, I was just looking at the possible U.S. pitching that we could have had there. DeGrom, Verlander, like
Scherzer.
Like, these are guys that could have been there, and that would have, changed the whole game plan right then. So, DC, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of echo what Anthony said, I was pretty pleased with the whole thing, as a whole. It was fun to watch. As far as the final, and it kind of was a toss-up, but I'm not surprised that Japan came away with it. Kind of like he also said, they're complete, from top to bottom, from manager all the way down to their role players. And I feel like Japan they're just an arm farm, man. They just bring guys that can just throw heat, have command. Their starting pitchers are just unreal. And as far as the Trout and Ohtani, after the fact, it definitely looked like overblown. Sorry, but going into it, that's a cool moment. You have Ohtani, the U.S. is, like Trout going against his teammate. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, Ohtani just waxed him, man. just right across the home plate. But it was cool to watch. I'm excited. Having Merrill Kelly go out there kind of hurts your chances. I'm hoping next, in 2026 we get some better guys out there. But overall, I was pretty happy with the whole thing. It was cool to watch. It's cool to see other players from other countries that you don't really know about. And it's also, I was thinking about today on the way to my trip, how it is, like, it's got to be awesome as like a young player, an unknown player that can go in and play for a country and nobody really knows them, but maybe gets their name out. Like, look at that one guy from who just got signed by the Detroit. He struck out Devers, Soto, and somebody else, like all in one inning, struck out the side, and he got a deal right away. So it's just cool to see the young unknown guys come up and get their opportunity to showcase their skills. So yeah, overall, just really stoked with the result. Obviously, I want to see USA come away with it. Josh, USA.
Well, one thing real quick, what you said. So it was actually cool that was the final at bat, right? That was the cool thing about it, was that's how the thing ended, Shohei versus Trout. You know what I mean? But like you said, it was no contest. I mean, the guy's lights out, dude. Like, hit that slider, dude. What was that? Like 92 off the edge or something with nasty late movement. I mean, that thing was filthy.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But it was cool to end the WBC on that, right? That showdown, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, and then if you look at it, the Red Sox, they had a lot of players representing across the board on several different countries. We're just going to sit there and name a few, and then we're going to talk about who had the big performances. Kike, he looked really well. Anthony, what did you think?
He's a great ball player. That's the bottom line. If you don't know Kike Hernandez is a hell of a ball player, you just don't know baseball, because the guy is a baseball player. He was phenomenal as usual in center field. Did he play short? I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did play short. I think he just played center for them, right? But he looked great in center field, which gives you a lot of confidence, because he's the kind of guy that can do it all. He's like a super utility guy. He looks healthy. I know he got hit by a pitch recently, but yeah, he looked healthy, and he's a ball player. I like Kike Hernandez, and he's a great leader, by the way. And Tanner Houck has talked about that yesterday in the broadcast, how great of a leader Kike Hernandez is. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a big Kike guy right now.
DC, well, what are your thoughts on Kike in the WBC?
Yeah, he played well. I know I think I touched on it right before the tournament started. How he was excited to play every day for Puerto Rico. And I think he doesn't take that for granted. So I think he went out there looking to have fun, but also, prove himself, take that time that he's getting that he didn't have the last tournament. Made some great plays in center field. And I'm just glad to see that from him, especially on that stage.
We're going to go over to Rafael Devers. So he sat there and he didn't get to play the field. He was their DH. They asked the Red Sox permission to play at first. It got denied. I think he was 2 for 14, 3 for 14, something like that. So I'm kind of glad he got all that out in the WBC, and hopefully he raked one deep today. Like that thing went parking lot. So DC,
and supposedly yesterday he also had one just foul that was like almost 500 feet. Yeah,
so
he's
DC,
crushing it.
Let's sit there and start with you, Devers. So what are your thoughts on his WBC?
Yeah, obviously not the stats and the outcome that he wanted as far as like a personal level and probably the team level. But a guy like Devers, I'm not worried about it. Like you said, kind of get it out of the way now. And today he cranked a home run. Yesterday he just missed one. So I think it's a non-issue. I think he'll be fine. He'll be a pretty core piece for us, obviously.
Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, he's everything for us. Right? He's everything for us. He's the most, the two most important players we have are Chris Sale and Rafael Devers. So, the fact I'm kind of disappointed. I just learned that when you said it about the fact the Red Sox denied him playing first base. That's very disappointing, because he's never played first base, right? He might transition there in the future. Austin Riley's played first base for the Braves. Why are we so against letting this guy play a couple of games at first base just to see how it looks? What's the problem? Get him over there. Get him comfortable. Aaron Judge, they're moving him around, playing him different places. He's not complaining about it. He's a baseball player. Stop treating Devers like he's got to be only third base, only batting second, only this, only that. Let the guy just go out and play some ball and have fun. And if in 3 or 4 years we might need him to play first base, what's wrong with getting him? What if we needed him in an emergency to play first base this year? What's the problem with that? I mean, I understand he's never really played there, so you don't want him to get hurt in the WBC, but that bothers me that the Red Sox seem like they're so against ever playing him at first base.
Yeah, I was a little more worried about him just not getting any field time, like just being stuck in that DH role where he just loses all those at bats where he's been playing the field. If it be a third, if it be at first, you need those reps out there to get comfortable. Like that's what the spring training's for. So he just went to the WBC just to play DH and sit in the dugout while everybody else was on the field, which I didn't like that because
Right.
you need, especially with the past couple of years, Devers, his gloves been getting a lot better. So he works on those things in spring training, and he wasn't able to do that this year.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. Absolutely. I've made that point on Twitter. It's like, he's going there for 2 or 3 weeks, not playing third. And luckily he did come back and made a nasty play. We all talked about that last time. He did make a nice play there. I'm not too worried about his defense really, because he's always had the talent. He just needs to stay focused, know how many outs there are, and make accurate throws to first. But his glove's not really an issue.
Let's go Verdugo. He was a key part in Team Mexico making it as far as they did. So Anthony.
Yeah, I don't know how was he a key part? As far as I know, he hit like 091. He was hitting 091 until he had that RBI double. So he had one good hit. He was batting second. So that tells you how bad their team is. I have been I'm impressed with the condition he's in. It definitely looks like he's in better shape. He doesn't have that gut like he had last year. So I'm liking the fact that he seems like he's in better condition. I'm hoping his foot is healed and healthy. And I'm hoping he has a really good year. I personally right now would be willing to trade him because I don't think we need him at all. And we're not looking to keep him long term. I don't want to get too much into that now. As far as I didn't see anything in the WBC that said that really impressed me. And if you look at his stats, he really did nothing the whole time. So that was pretty much nothing as far as I'm concerned.
Okay,
nothing's changed on Verdugo with the WBC. Okay, same guy.
DC.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with him as well. Obviously, you know how I feel about him. He did have a clutch hit against Japan, but it was one hit. And they ended up, it didn't really turn into anything. I'm just not on the train for Verdugo, man. I'm not impressed with his WBC. I haven't been impressed with his stint with the Red Sox so far. This is his year for me. And I don't really think he can really change my mind unless he comes out and hits, maybe goes 30-30 or something,
Dude, yeah. If he hit 20 home runs this year, I would literally run to the bank with that. Okay. If he hits 280 plus with 20 home runs, that would be huge for us. That would be so huge for us. And then people could actually say, okay, yeah, he is a decent average player. He hasn't even come close to that. I think his career high is what, like 12?
Yeah.
Something like that,
2 years ago, maybe last year.
What do you have last year? I think he had 10 or 11 last year. It was brutal.
How'd you feel about it, Josh?
Hey, I loved how he went out there representing Mexico, helped them out. And then when he came back, he was fresh for the leadoff back-to-back games. And he did really well. Really well. I can't wait, DC, until we're at work Thursday. You and I are going to be happy as can be because we're leaving early. But I can't wait till I check my phone. Oh, Red Sox lineup's in. Let's see. Verdugo batting leadoff. I've been on this hype train now for 3.5 weeks. And I'm sticking on it. So next up, you
might be $10 richer if that's the case.
We're going to be sitting there talking plenty more about Verdugo later. But let's talk about Yoshida. That man was amazing in the WBC. So, Anthony, I'll let you start it off.
Yeah. I was one of the people when we signed him. There was a lot of criticism, right? There was a lot of people saying we overpaid. There was a lot of Red Sox fans because they were upset, with the whole Bogarts and everything else, that they kind of took it out on him as, you signed this guy, he's unproven. We don't know what he's going to be. He's coming over from Japan. I'm hearing things, the ball's smaller. He can't play left. He does this, that, the other thing. I heard all this stuff from Red Sox fans on Twitter, no less. Not to mention the rumors around the league about how a lot of people in front offices think we overpaid. Well, guess what I said at the time? I said, you know what? The Red Sox have been scouting this guy. They've been high on this guy. They've wanted this guy for a long time. He was available. They went out and they got him. They got their guy. I trust their evaluation on this, and I like Japanese ball players in general. So now that I've actually got a chance to see this guy play against on the top stage already, he was phenomenal. I mean, that home run he hit, you talk about clutch. You talk about a clutch home run, okay? He dropped the barrel, okay? And it was almost like he was trying to hit that home run. Like, it was, you know what I'm saying? It was almost like it was so powerful to just where that pitch was, to just drop the barrel and bring it right down the right field line like that. Just it showed so much skill. I think a lot of people just say, oh, it's a home run. No, that home run was really special. That was a special home run, the way he dropped the bat on that inside pitch. And man, this guy's legit. He kind of reminds me a lot of Hideki Matsui. I think that's the closest comp I see. And I think he and the other thing is he hit bombs off. These guys were left-handed pitchers. So guess what? There's no bringing in lefties against him. Not to say he's going to, tear it up like against every lefty, but I'm just saying he's not a guy you have to worry about hitting left-handed pitching, right? And everything just went up on him, right? So like the contract now looks great. Nobody's talking about that. He looks pretty good in the outfield, hitting everything, dude. This guy is the man. Okay, he's so important for us.
Yeah, that home run you're talking about, I love David Ortiz broke it down, and where that ball was pinpointed and where he hit it, Ortiz flat out said that was even a hittable ball, let alone a home run ball, and he made it look easy when he did it. Like it was a video game-esque. And no, DC, we're not going to talk about you shutting me out on MLB The Show. But man.
Oh damn, you guys got MLB The Show on PlayStation 5?
No, but we got it on Xbox, but it's cross-platform.
Okay, I'm gonna have to jump on that.
I'm on old gen though for right now. I'm gonna
That's
get
cool.
an X.
That's cool.
Yeah, dude.
You guys can play each other.
We jumped on the other night.
What were you? Were you get one of you guys the Red Sox?
No,
we did a Diamond Dynasty.
Yeah, we do Diamond Dynasty.
Right. It's like a fantasy squad almost.
Yeah,
I waxed that ass.
Ultimate team kind of thing. Who's your best player? Who was your first pick? Was it Pedro?
No, it's just random cards you get in a pack.
Okay,
So
I did it 1 year. I did it 1 year, and they gave me like a choice of like 5 picks, and I had like Pedro and like Bob Gibson and like Jackie Robinson or something. I didn't know if you start out your team.
So they offered you. So we paid for like the early access. So it comes out on like the 28th, but we got it the 24th, and you get like 2 choice gold packs of gold players that are like lower 80s. I got Devers in mine, and then I took Tony Gonsolin in my other gold pack.
Yeah,
but that's as good as they really are in the beginning.
Right.
Unfortunately, I got Derek Jeter. That was horrible.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh no, this was 73. Bronze card. It was horrible. But now, baby, I got me Yoshida. So that's my power hitter right there.
But yeah, hey, not to get off topic, but I'll touch on Yoshida a little bit. Yeah, that home run was awesome to see. It just shows how quick his hands are, man. He gets those hands to the ball really fast. And then he have a walk-off home run in the Japanese World Series in the fall. So it's just good to see that he comes up clutch in those moments. I mean, they're 2 of the biggest moments in his career probably, and he's making big hits late in the game. So I'm excited to see that. Just hope he can continue this momentum, which I think he will. I was excited for the signing. I mean, obviously the Bogarts kind of, dampered it a little bit, but I mean, after that wore off, I'm excited, man. I picked him up in my fantasy league for my 1 keeper.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I had to ask you for some advice on that one to make sure I wasn't overthinking it. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see what he can do.
Well, here's the thing too.
In the big moments.
Here's the thing too. I don't know about you, but like my personal projections have increased for him, right? So I went from thinking he was maybe like a 280, 16 home run, 18 home run guy. Now I wouldn't put it past him to hit close to 300 and hit over 20 homers, 100 RBIs at all. That wouldn't shock me one bit. Whereas I wasn't putting that projection on him because I thought that was a little high for basically a rookie to the majors. Now, after seeing him play in the WBC, nah, dude, this guy's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a monster.
And everybody talking about, man, we overpaid. Dude, for some reason, this Red Sox organization, they do their scouting on international talent very well. We scouted Devers very young. I didn't know until a couple of days ago that when we went down and scouted Xander Bogaerts when he was 16, Xander Bogaerts wasn't even supposed to play. His mom kept him home with chicken pox. But then she let him play, and that's how we got to see him. Like, we know talent when it's out there on the international, and we thrive there. So
it's a good point. They've done a good job with that.
Yeah. So, man, next topic up. Anthony's gonna be one of your favorites. The bullpen. Man, we were sitting there talking on episode 1 before you came on, Anthony, and joined us. Man, that was our sure thing. Like we were talking how we build from the back forward. Kenley Jansen was our closer. Martin was in 8th inning, maybe 7th, 8th inning. You had Rodriguez back there. You had Schreiber back there. It's like, Kelly, okay, we had a good solid bullpen. Now everybody was worried about the starters, health-wise, injuries. Now, here we are, 7 episodes later, and our starting pitching looks great, healthy, and it's ready to go for the season. And now our bullpen is in shambles.
Yeah, no, I mean, it went from being our biggest strength to now maybe our biggest weakness. It's that simple. I wasn't on the first episode, but I've been saying all off season, this is the biggest thing, like improving the bullpen. We had 27, 28 blown saves last year. We really haven't had a closer since Kimbrel, right? We had Brandon Workman for kind of a little bit, Matt Barnes. Like, we haven't really had a legit closer since Craig Kimbrel. That's what, 4 or 5 years ago, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We blew 27 or 28 games last year. Okay. And part of that is the offense not coming through clutch as well. But when you're blowing 27, 28 games and then you're missing the playoffs by like 7 or 8, that's cause and effect. And I thought we'd shored that up. I thought we were gonna gain 8 to 10 games just from our bullpen alone. Now, dude, Schreiber he came out of nowhere last year, had a monster year. It's hard to ask somebody to repeat that, right? Brazier, everybody knows, is volatile. Okay. Now you got Jansen, came out of that game the other night. It was a little bit of a scare. People say he's dehydrated. Okay. But the game's sped up this year, right? It's less warm-up pitches, less time in between pitches. That's going to put a toll on somebody like him. Big dude. Who's one of the slowest workers normally in baseball. Thank God we got Chris Martin. He looks great. But I'm telling you right now, if you're not worried about this bullpen, Joely Rodriguez is out. Now we got Mills out. Now we got this guy. We don't know who we're going to put in. You know what I mean? So Zach Kelly and Winkowski are going to be in the bullpen to start the year. We don't know about Sheriff. We don't know. I mean, it doesn't look nearly as good as it did a month ago already. And not to mention, if you know anything about Cora and the Red Sox, Alex Cora continues every season to burn through his bullpen like it's a pack of Camel Lights. That's the bottom line. This guy, if he only has 2 or 3 good pitchers in the bullpen, you can bank on the fact they're going to be worn down by probably July, okay? Because he's going to overuse them. So if you're not concerned with this bullpen, you don't really know the Red Sox.
Yeah, I'm definitely concerned. Not maybe concerned to a point of trading to get a reliever. I sit there and think by I think 14 days, they're predicting Whitlock to be back. So that there, I easily sit there and say, put Whitlock in the start, let Houck go back into middle relief. Like, because I'm not sold on Houck being a starter still. Like 100%, I'm not sold. So that could give us a little help. Do we sit there and need to bring 13 pitchers into the start of the season?
Yeah, you will.
Can we get by
Guaranteed.
on 12
No.
for with 2 days off? It's it's
No.
to-
They'll
a toss-up
definitely have
right now.
13. They'll definitely have 13. No matter what, any maximum allowance of pitchers, they're always going to utilize that. Just like they did last year, they're going to do it again. If they can fit 13, they'll put 13. If they can put 14, they'll put 14. I don't know if that was a rule a couple of years ago where they had to start the year, you had 2 extra roster spots for something with COVID. I have no idea, but maybe it's gone this year. I don't know, but they're always going to maximize the amount of pitchers and max that out. I do think Houck's a great starter. I think it's Crawford who goes to the bullpen, not Houck. And I actually think I have a hot take. I think Brian Bayo could be this year's Garrett Whitlock. Why not? He came out of the bullpen in spring training, 2 innings, shut him down. Imagine having a guy like Brian Bayo as like a Mariano Rivera type from 96, a guy who can come in just like a Whitlock did a couple years ago and give you 2 or 3 nasty innings out of the bullpen. I don't know. He's probably going to be a starter. I'm just saying one of those guys is going to be in the bullpen. That's for sure. Which one? We don't know yet. It probably will be Houck, but I think Houck has a chance to earn that job with his first couple of starts, and I'm looking forward to it. And the fact that they gave him the number 3 starting spot tells you a little something too. You know, could be Pivetta. Maybe Pivetta goes to the bullpen.
There was talks. I think before all the injuries and starting pitching, that Pivetta was going to be the odd man out to go to the bullpen, and he wasn't happy about it. I can't remember who reported that, but Pivetta was going to be the odd man out, or rumored to be the odd person out from that rotation.
If Pivetta's going against Kansas City, he's probably going to dominate, right? Like, in other words, if he's going against a bad team, he does well. As soon as he goes against good teams, he gets his lips ripped off. That's a trend.
Mm-hmm. So, DC, what are your thoughts on the bullpen situation?
Yeah, I mean, what I thought was going to be a strength is going to be something that we definitely have to keep our eye on. It's not looking too hot right now. Schreiber is getting destroyed. Before today when he pitched, he had 6 runs and 8 hits allowed in like 8 innings, I believe. Brazier, he continues to serve up a couple home runs like he already has. I mean, he lives for giving up home runs, man. I swear to God, I look up at the screen, and you look away, and Brazier's pitching. You look up, the ball is going over the left field wall. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little nervous. And with Chris Martin, I mean, I think he's a beast, but can you count on him to be a closer if Jansen goes down? You have the irregular heartbeat, the little scare that just happened. I'm with Anthony. At first, I wasn't too sold on Houck, but if I'm going to pick either Houck or Pivetta to go to the bullpen, I'm taking Houck to stay in the rotation and put Pivetta in there. I like Pivetta, in the past few years. 2 years ago in the playoffs, he was big for us. He's just not consistent. So I do think Houck does have a chance to step it up and earn that spot. Then when you have Paxton and Whitlock come back, Crawford either back to AAA or bullpen, or
he'll be in the bullpen for sure.
Yeah, bullpen. And then,
I love Crawford. I really like Crawford.
Oh, I'm a big fan of him. And
as like a multi-inning. Yeah,
absolutely.
Multi-inning reliever, spot starter, just a long reliever, just a guy you want on the rotate on the staff for sure.
Yeah.
He's a
I just
gamer.
don't want to have a repeat of last year. I mean, I think it was like the first month and a half we blew 9 or 10 games that we should have won, and that could have changed the whole landscape of the season. You know what I mean? I just don't want to go down that path. Hopefully, we could just get through these lumps and bruises for the first couple of weeks and kind of get stabilized and back to normal. But yeah, it's definitely a concern. It's been on my mind for the past couple of days. And even Rodriguez, before he got hurt, I think he had like close to a 17 ERA. Small sample size, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, the signs were there even before he got hurt.
Plus, we got Caleb Ort getting completely destroyed, right? He's like, everybody just knows he's going to be out of a job, right? I mean, how can we continue to keep Caleb Ort on the 40-man roster when we need to open up spots for Alfaro and Tapia? So now, in other words, you got all these injuries, and you release Caleb. You're stretching yourself thin now, because guess what? If you already have, if you're going to replace, and Josh, you talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. Generally, when you release a pitcher, you replace them with a pitcher, right? Mm-hmm. If you're taking off 2 pitchers to get on 2 hitters, that stretches your staff so thin right now. So right now, health in bullpen, there's health, like not wanting to like rush Whitlock and Bayo back in there, right? And count on them too much early in the season when we could take it a little slower. That, and just all the injuries, Chris Sale, Paxton, we got guys that are older. We got all sorts of question marks. And, just it's an issue right now, man. It's very concerning.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
But man, it's crazy. Like we're not like you mentioned with Tapia. Tapia and Alfaro are going to probably make the roster. So we sit there and we worry about who's getting taken off. Like Ort's probably gone, but then we had no one to replace him. So you got to count on people in the IL, but they're only going to be out for less than 2 weeks, except minus Paxton and possibly Mondesi. So it's our bullpen is going to sit there and hope that our starters can go at least 6 innings.
Right. And so you mentioned earlier, you don't want to make a trade. I brought this up on Twitter. Why wouldn't you be looking to ship Alex Verdugo right now while he still has value and make a baseball trade for a legit relief pitcher? Okay. Because I want somebody, if I'm not sure about Schreiber right now, right? What did we talk about too when I'm defending Brazier? I said one of the keys with Brazier is he's not going to be in a high leverage role. Well, guess what? That's changed now. You might be using Brian Brazier as a setup guy early in the season. That's scary. I wanted Brazier in the 5th, 6th inning, right? Not in the friggin' 8th, 7th, or 8th. So to me, right now you could use Tapia and Refschneider in right field and be just as good as you are now. You wouldn't even drop a beat. You would not miss Verdugo, okay? Tapia and Refschneider can handle right field. You got Duran as a backup, and then you've got Kike, who can play out there as well, especially when we get Mondesi and then maybe Story back. So to me, you have an extra body in the outfield anyway. Why not cash in on that and improve our bullpen, which is really weak?
You make a good point. I seen someone was mentioning, I can't remember the relief pitcher from the Phillies, but as soon as Hoskins went down, someone's like, hey, get Dombrowski on the phone, trade Dahlbeck for one of their bullpen guys. But
I don't think we can trade Bobby Dahlbeck right now because he's playing shortstop for us.
Yeah, because Chang had problems getting with his visa coming back over.
Right, but either way. So in other words, you've got Casas, Devers, Hernandez. You got all these guys. Who's the backup?
Yeah.
So in other words, Bobby Dahlbeck can actually be a valuable piece for you as a backup in my eyes. So I wouldn't really want to rush to trade Bobby Dahlbeck right now. He's a key piece. He looks good at short, man.
He looked comfortable.
He made a great play today.
And the funny part is it's really weird. A guy that big, being agile at shortstop. Yeah. Like, man, like you see guys his size, first base guaranteed, third base okay, but man, to go and see him move the way he does and without hesitation and with comfort making plays at shortstop, all of a sudden, man, it's like, wait a minute here, well, where did this come from? And
we know he's got the power.
Yeah.
He's got a phenomenal arm. He was a great pitcher in college and growing up. He's got a cannon for an arm over there. He's got great power. He's too valuable to move right now. I would not move Bobby Dahlbeck because of all of our depth concerns, and he can fill in so many spots. What if somebody or Devers or Casas went on the 15-day DL with a hamstring or whatever it might be? What if they just got a little dinged up? You bring up Dahlbeck. Perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, I like that security blanket of having Bobby Dahlbeck as a backup for this team.
And don't forget, Justin Turner's on the team too. Who can also play the corners. So it's easy. We can't trade Bobby now.
Yeah.
Look, like, okay, if we trade him, his value is a little bit higher now because he showed he can sit there and play Major League Baseball shortstop. But we can't afford it right now, especially with all the infield problems we have.
Right. I mean, listen, if you're going to give me a really good relief pitcher for him, that's different. I'm not expecting that much in a trade. Now, if you're going to tell me I can get a legit back end of the bullpen guy for Bobby Dahlbeck, that's different. Maybe I'd consider that. But I'm not just getting rid of Bobby Dahlbeck just to clear up a roster spot, right? Not doing that.
No.
He's too valuable, bro. Like you said, dude, he looks good at shortstop.
So, man, bullpen, we got a couple days. Hopefully, Chaim Bloom figures things out.
By the way, do we even know who's officially in the bullpen? Are they going to bring in Sheriff? So, in other words, I know Zach Kelly and Josh Winkowski are in.
Yeah.
But is there a final spot? Is it going to go to like Sheriff or Mosqueda?
As far as I know, Chaim didn't sit there and make any announcements on that whatsoever yet.
Okay.
So
it's a little bit of a question mark.
But another quick topic that we're all for, Alfaro went and made the first move, and he sit there and said, "You got to tell me, because if not, they can sit there. He can get the option to have any other team call him now, and play and get traded."
What's the deadline?
I think it's Tuesday.
Was it the 28th? Okay, yeah. So we have 2 days. This is a foregone conclusion. Mm-hmm. There is no way in hell we cannot have him on our roster. We have to have Alfaro. First of all, the guy's a stud. He's a low-key stud, right? He's a very good athlete, right? He might not be the best defender, but we're working on that. He's got ridiculous power. He's very likable. This is a foregone conclusion, bro. I'm not even worried about it. He is on our roster. There should be riots if we lose this guy.
Yeah. DC, what are your thoughts on Alfaro? Do you think we should take the phone calls or, let him be on the 40-man roster?
I think we put him on our roster. I think he's played great through spring training. He's just a shot of energy that we need. He's been performing. Granted, his defense is a little shoddy, but as a backup, I'm not too worried about it as long as you're producing at the plate. There's no way that you can't break camp with Alfaro as your backup catcher. There's absolutely no way. I would be completely perplexed if that were to happen.
So listen, I just want to point this out too. I'm working on a tweet. I was going to do it earlier. I took a screenshot here. Let me throw these numbers at you guys. This was our offensive catching last year. Okay.
Oh yeah. I seen that.
Right. So our total team catching last year, we hit 259, 10 homers, 65 RBIs with a 694 OPS. I mean, are you kidding me? First of all, you look at our team splits, every position sucked. Obviously third base was good. Nothing's changed there. Shortstop and second were okay, but every other position was a failure. Every other position on the field. Every outfield spot sucked. DH sucked. Catcher sucked. First base sucked. Okay. So are you kidding me? Between Alfaro and McGuire and Wong, we're going to blow these numbers out of the water this year with our catching. It's so much better than it was last year, and people don't realize that, okay? We've added 259, 10 homers, 65 ribbies with a 694 OPS. That sucks, okay? Yes. And now we've got a really good group of catchers. I'm excited about it. So, it's a no-brainer, dude. Alfaro is on the roster. Wong hasn't even come back yet. He has to be on the roster. The question now is he's going to start finagling. This is where you get Chaim Bloom, because he's going to finagle the end of the roster, open up those roster spots, figure out what's best for the team, and I trust him to make those decisions until he completely fails, and then I'm ready to get rid of him like everybody else.
Yeah.
Don't lose Alfaro, or I'll be on the Chaim Bloom hate train with everybody else. Because the other thing is, it was such a great move to get him. They signed him, and it was such a brilliant move to get Alfaro. You don't squander that now when you need him the most. It just wouldn't make sense. So he's on there. You can pretty much write it in stone.
And not only that, Wong has options to go down the AAA.
Exactly.
So, man,
exactly.
You use him until you need him to bring him up. So, but man, my man George Sutherland, as soon as last week's episode dropped, he was in my DMs. He's like, "Love the episode. I loved your take on Turner." He was all for the bandwagon. He kept hyping me up for the next 2 days. We got to get a T-shirt made. Throw some dirt on it. So man,
George is really, really cool guy. I like him a lot, and he's going to be joining us on opening day, right?
Yeah, he's going to be one of the 10.
He does a little blog. He does a blog, pundit of the pesky poll or something like that.
Yeah, but man,
he seems like a really good dude.
Yeah, he is.
Justin Turner, since he came back from throwing a little dirt on that, he's been lighting it up. First at bat, he got a nice little single, and man, he just continues to just keep going, keep plugging away, and with a smile on his face doing it. And I noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed the games when you're watching them, like Chris Sale today when they interviewed him when he coming off the mound, he had a smile on his face. You know, Alfaro, big smile. Devers is always smiling. Like, man, this is a team that is happy to be playing baseball. And Justin Turner is doing something that I don't see too many people being able to do. 2 weeks later, coming back and playing Major League Baseball.
What a rallying cry. What a rally. What way. I mean, just if you don't want to get behind this guy, I mean, talk about a leader. This guy has got balls of steel. He's a great leader. We saw that photo, you know, obviously it went around, and you know, that was much worse than I had realized. I didn't so it really kind of got him right here, almost on the mouth.
Yeah.
And just nasty injury, swollen. Obviously, all the stitches. It was nasty. This guy's back in there. He's such a gamer. We knew he was a gamer anyway. Now, dude, he's beloved. He's already one of us. Like, he's already ingratiated himself amongst the fan base. And I've talked about his reverse splits. He can handle anybody. He's batting behind Devers. I think this guy's going to have a great year. I really do. I'm actually getting higher and higher. Just like Yoshida, I'm getting higher on Turner as well. So where I said before, maybe 270, 280, it wouldn't surprise me if he hit 290, maybe 300. It wouldn't surprise me if he hit 20 home runs. I'm gaining confidence in a lot of these hitters.
Yeah, DC, what are your thoughts on Turner coming back and looking good since he's been back?
It's awesome to see. Yeah, like we said when it happened, you know, when he came back and got back to camp, it's kind of like a rallying cry. How can you not respect the hell out of the guy, man? You have a guy like that in your corner, you got to feel pretty good. And he's doing well. He's hitting 381, 1.06 OPS in spring training. And what I'm glad to see is him being comfortable at the plate after getting hit in the face. Because like Anthony said, that photo was pretty gruesome. I mean, he took a shot, and it was a lot worse than I thought. Obviously, it looked very bad, but seeing a picture kind of justifies it a little bit more. Yeah, I'm excited for him, dude. I think he's a baller. I think he has what it needs, or what you have to play in Boston. And like Anthony said as well, you know, he already kind of is a fan favorite. I mean, he hasn't even broken camp yet, and he missed 2 weeks with 16 stitches. So. I don't know. I'm glad to have a guy like that on our squad. I think he's going to pick us up in a lot of moments throughout the season when we need that leadership with him and Kike. But yeah, man, stoked to have him. Glad that he's back on the field and glad that he's playing well, because that's the main thing, is just the mental aspect. But a vet like that, I was a little worried, but not too much.
Yeah, definitely. Like Turner and then Kike. Like, I loved when they signed Justin Turner. Everyone's like, oh, man, you could have got JD to re-sign for the same amount. Dude. I personally was like, I loved JD when he was here. I loved him when he was here. But he's been getting worse and worse. His stats been getting worse every year since 2018. Not only that, you couldn't play him in the outfield. So he was stuck at DH. So you couldn't move around at all. But with Justin Turner, he plays first, he plays third, he plays DH. You can give Cassis, you can give Devers time off from the field, put him in DH, and let Turner get out there. So I think Justin Turner was a complete upgrade over JD Martinez last year.
100%. I mean, and he's got such a low bar to clear, right? What did JD Martinez do last year? Like, 14 homers, 62 RBIs. He hit like 260. He was one of the worst clutch hitters that I've ever seen.
He was straight trash the last 4 months.
He was horrible. No, he was terrible. He was terrible. And like Josh said, he's been going down every year since 18. And it was time. It should have been. They should have got rid of him the year before and kept Schwarber. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. I mean, but like I love Schwarber. Everybody does. I still don't understand how they let him go and kept JD Martinez. But I agree with you 100%. It's an upgrade. I've been saying this all off season. We're upgrading at DH, not downgrading. We're upgrading big time, actually.
Yeah,
and on a lot of levels: leadership, hitting, fielding, just go down the line. Like it's just a much better player. And he's cheaper too. He's only making like $8 million. I mean, it's a steal. What a bargain.
So exactly, man. I love Turner coming back. I can't wait. I already talked to Sox Addict about getting a shirt made. Throw some dirt on it. Man, George just pumped me up so much. I had to sit there and reach out to try to get a shirt made for this. But man, we got the rotation is set. Alex Cora made the calls. Kluber's opening day. Sale gets the 2 spot. Houck gets 3. Crawford 4. Pivetta 5. Winkowski is in long relief. We touched base on it a little bit earlier with Winkowski. Guys, what are your thoughts on the starting rotation starting the season? Are you comfortable with it? Would you rearrange them at all? DC, let's start with you.
Pretty good with it. I mean, we've kind of hammered this in a little bit. I mean, my opinion really hasn't changed. I mean, I do want to highlight something that Anthony mentioned a little bit ago about Houck. It has to say something that he's marked as a number 3 starter. Kind of just shows that the ball is in his court. So I'm not too worried about the starting rotation. I'm pretty stoked for it. You got Whitlock doing a rehab on March 30th, and he'll be back, first week of the season, if not the second. Then Paxton will be back, end of April, beginning of May. Mm-hmm. I'm happy with it. And I think Houck does have a chance to, take that job and send Pivetta and Crawford to the bullpen, like we mentioned a little bit ago. But I'm not too worried. I think Sale's going to have a great year. I think his last start was a little bit of a hiccup. That happens in baseball. Kluber, I don't mean to steal Anthony's thunder, but he's just so stoic, man. Nothing bothers him. And I'm excited to have a vet to go out there, kind of set the pace for us and, be that example that we need on opening day.
Yeah, I loved when Sale came off and they interviewed him. The only thing that he closed with that was epic. I just want to make it home safe. And
take an Uber, buddy.
And that's great. Because man, Sale, man, his kids better pick up all their toys and everything, because we don't need him going down for the slightest hiccup, this season. Man, Anthony, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, no, I mean, with Houck being the 3 spot, it kind of at least gives you the idea that like his turn's going to come faster. So in other words, they want to give Tanner Houck at least 2, maybe 3 starts at the beginning of the year to kind of prove himself and see. Okay. And the thing is, you're seeing a lot of guys pitch good for like 3-4 innings. We saw that with Houck. We've seen it with Sale. And then they kind of lose it in like the 5th, 6th as they're stretching out a little bit. So that's pretty normal. I'm not too concerned with that. I thought Sale looked really good today. I mean, I honestly, he had pop on his fastball. He had command. I thought his slider looked nasty as usual. He didn't really feature the changeup too much today. So I want to make sure he keeps that 3-pitch mix. It just makes him that much more devastating and keeps people, just off his other pitches. And but no, I feel actually pretty good about it. I mean, the stoic Corey Kluber, solid guy. He's very predictable. He's going to give you that solid start. Then you got Sale. Pivetta also has most likely Pivetta stays in the rotation because he's proven he can go and pitch innings. But if he, I just feel like I want the best 5 guys. I've said it all off season. I don't care who it is. If Pivetta's one of those 5, fine. If it's Houck, fine. If it's Bayo, Whitlock, fine. I want the best 5 starting pitchers we can possibly manage to put out there. So, these guys, the first couple of starts, have a little chance to maybe earn a spot. Maybe it's a competition between those 3 guys. Maybe, same thing with Winkowski. Who's going to be our long reliever in the bullpen? Is it going to be Winkowski or Crawford? Maybe one of them goes to AAA to start and stay stretched out down there. And one of them is going to be more of a bullpen guy who's got, that jump on that spot. So, Yeah, I mean, the starting pitching set, and I'm good with it. You got Kluber, Sale, and then you got a bunch of other, especially young pitchers who I want to develop.
Yeah. Question for both of you guys. Say Houck or Pivetta or both of them are struggling after 2 starts, and you're AC. Do you try to give Winkowski a spot start just to see how he's doing, or do you sit there and just let them try to work their mechanics out until we get Whitlock and Bayo back?
I would stick with him. I wouldn't panic after 2 starts. I would probably just try to bridge that gap. Maybe after 3 or 4 starts, you start to kind of maybe think about making a change. But the first 2, I would even say 3 to 4 is a little too early for me. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, Bayo and Whitlock are coming back, right? And so basically, I don't see Winkowski starting. I think if Tanner Houck proves that he's not quite ready to be a starter and he's not ready to go and he can't go more than 5 innings or whatever, okay, he might go to the bullpen and there comes Whitlock and Bayo. But it's going to be him and Crawford coming out. You know what I mean? So right now it's Crawford is going to come out for sure. He's not going to stick in over the other guys. And the question is, who's the other guy that's going to come out? Okay. We got Houck, Whitlock, Bayo, and then Pivetta. Is there a reason why they put Pivetta in the 5 spot? Maybe they feel like, he's going to be part of the rotation, so just put him 5th. I don't know what the thought process is, but it's definitely on Houck. Houck is the key here. If Houck dominates early in the season and shows that he should be in the starting rotation, that's when you have the tough decision to make. If Houck sucks, he's just going to go to the bullpen anyway, regardless.
So, yeah, we don't have that much further to see. 4 more days. 4 more days, opening day. Man. So, guys, we're going to sit there and we got some questions. So, let's jump right into them. Aiden King asked us, what under-the-radar Sox player do you think will surprise people with an awesome year? So, DC, let's start with you.
This one was tough. I kind of battled back and forth who I wanted to pick. I'm going to go with our boy Reese McGuire, to be honest with you. I think having him out far behind him playing as well as he is might light a fire under his ass. And he didn't do bad for us offensively last year. I think he comes out as a solid year for us catching, offensively. And hopefully, raises that line that Anthony was talking about, the 259, 10 home runs, and 60 RBIs or something like that. If I had to pick, I would say Reese McGuire. I could see Tapia or even Mondesi having, a surprise year, especially if Santa comes early and somehow Verdugo gets bumped off and Tapia gets some more time, I do like that Tapia and Ref Snyder idea. I never even really thought about that. But I'm going to go Reese McGuire if I had to choose, just kind of out of lack of time and being indecisive.
Yeah. Anthony?
Yeah. Aiden, I was dealing with him on Twitter today. He unfollowed me because a lot of these Red Sox fans are so sensitive. They can't take reality. So guess what, Aiden? It ain't going to be Alex Verdugo. That's for sure. That ain't going to be your guy. Okay. So who I'm looking at is, I would have to say Christian Arroyo, right? A lot of people question whether he can stay healthy. And what he's going to bring. I think he's actually a very good hitter, one of the better hitters on the team from the right side. I've kind of advocated for him being sort of a 5th or 6th hitter because I like a guy in that spot who can handle the bat and hit, not somebody like Adam Duvall who's going to strike out and whiff when I got guys on base. Because I'm going to have Yoshida. You're talking about hitting behind Devers, Turner, and Yoshida. That's a key spot. You want somebody who can hit, drive in runs, not somebody who's going to be, like Duvall could hit a bomb every once in a while, but is going to strike out and just, hit into double plays and just. So I think Arroyo could be a good 5th, 6th hitter, but they're not going to use him like that. But I think, would it shock anybody if he's a 280 to 290 hitter with 15 plus home runs? It wouldn't shock me. I think he's going to stay healthy playing second base, and I think he's going to really show out this year. And of course, I can't obviously not mention my boy Tanner Houck, who, by the way, will dominate his first couple of starts, will earn his job in the starting rotation, and he will be potentially the best pitcher on our staff, as I've said all offseason, because I love Tanner Houck, and I think that's how good he is.
Man, Anthony, well, you stole my top pick, so I'm not going to follow up with that with a Christian Arroyo.
I saw your facial reaction. I knew
know.
you picked it. I knew you were going to take it.
I didn't know if you were basically saying like you didn't like the pick, so you're saying I stole your pick. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good.
Hey, we're on the same page. Brilliant minds think alike.
Talent recognizes
Finally on the
talent.
same page. I wish you'd get on the same page with Verdugo. Sorry, Josh.
But you took Arroyo, you took Reese McGuire. I don't want to take Arroyo now because you already did. So I'm going to throw in Bobby Dahlbeck. Is going to be our utility player from the bench. He is going to finally put those pieces together, and he's going to get all that extra playing time because he's willing to do whatever it takes to play whatever position it takes. He looks better at shortstop sometimes than Xander did. No, we're not going to say that. Just kidding. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. But no, he looks
trigger warning.
He looks comfortable, and that's just another position, more playing time for him to get. And I think he's going to be that sneaky utility guy that we have coming off the bench. And I think he puts it all together this year. Bobby Dahlbeck, Throbby D, is going to be my pick.
I love that pick, dude. Because I'm one of the biggest Bobby Dahlbeck fans. I'm like one of his biggest defenders. And if that happened, I would be so happy because I like his attitude. I like his play style, and he has a ton of talent. So if that happens, I would be so happy because he could be a very, very, I've been saying this all offseason, he could be extremely valuable bench bat. I was just surprised how good Yu Chang was in the WBC. So it kind of like changed the equation a little bit. So maybe Bobby starts in Worcester, but dude, it's a great pick. And I'm always rooting for Bobby because he's a good kid.
Yeah, he's one of those Red Sox players that people just fall in love with, and you got to ride or die with him now.
And bro, the power is insane. Did you see the bomb he hit? Dude, the guy has so much power potential. It's like if we could just get this guy on track and get him contact and just plate approach, sort of his approach at the plate down and get more contact and less watching 92-mile-an-hour fastballs down the middle on strike three. Like, holy crap, dude, the potential is there. This guy can rake. We saw what he did in August a couple of years ago. The guy absolutely put the team on his back and was hitting bomb after bomb after bomb. Oh, more than that, dude. Dude, his stretch, he had like a 3-week stretch, dude. He was the best hitter in baseball. In the major leagues here, we're not talking about COVID year or Worcester. This guy was dominant for like a month in the major leagues. I'm sorry, in the AL East, okay? He's got talent. People want to crap on Bobby Dahlbeck just like they do Ryan Brazier. I'm telling you right now, I love that pick. I am rooting hard for Bobby D for sure. I love Bobby Dahlbeck. So much talent, dude. So much power.
And it's kind of funny, Anthony. You ended up taking my pick, and then my pick ended up being one of your biggest favorite picks. So it's kind of tit for tat there.
Yeah.
So great question there, Aiden. Next up is our man George Sutherland. He sends us in a question. Do the Sox make a surprise trade before opening day? If so, who is going and who are we getting in return? So, DC, let's start off with you again.
So I'm going to be a little boring on this unless we find a way to trade Verdugo or try to get a late inning guy. I don't see a trade by opening day, to be honest with you. I just don't see it happening. I'd be happy if it did, if we could get rid of a guy like Verdugo, just trying to manifest it. But yeah, I don't see anything happening by opening day, unfortunately.
Okay, Anthony.
Yeah, my guy George, great question. Yeah, I've been trying to talk this Verdugo trade into existence since we for a while now. It makes a lot of sense actually. But no, I think what he was kind of getting at was a trade off the roster. If I'm reading George's mind, I'm thinking he's thinking, could we trade somebody off the roster to now open up a roster spot? I don't know. I don't know if we can. I don't know who has value. We need pitching now. So would we? I think the one guy we could move is Alex Verdugo. That's why I suggested that, because I've analyzed it and I've decided he literally has zero impact on this team. I can replace him with Tapia and Refschneider, and there's no problem there whatsoever. I'm not going to lose anything at all. Okay. Other than some mariachi music at Fenway Park this summer. Okay. That's the only thing I'm really going to lose with Verdugo. Okay. So, will there be a trade? We need a bullpen arm, man. We really need a bullpen arm, but I'd say no. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because I think you're just going to release Caleb Orton. You're going to put James Paxton on the 60. And I think that's what and then you're going to roll with Winkowski and Kelly in the bullpen. I think that's basically what you're going to do.
George, I'm going to sit there and shake up the market. What we're doing here, the mad chemist Hein Bloom, hindsight 2020, we're trading Tristan Casas and Rafaela to the Miami Marlins, and we're getting Alcantara.
First of all, that would never that is not even close to what it would take to trade for him. Any team like the Marlins that has an ace like that, like it's Pedro Martinez, the first thing they're going to ask for in return is an ace. In other words, in order to get Alcantara, you're giving up Bayo. Period. End of story. You do not get Alcantara without trading Brian Bayo. Period. They're not going to take anything less. The first thing they're going to ask for in return for their franchise dominant pitcher is the next franchise dominant pitcher. So unless you're coming with Brian Bayo, he's not coming. Tristan Casas, and I wouldn't do that anyway. I'd rather have Tristan Casas. I'm just a big Tristan Casas fan, so I really don't want to trade him. I mean, obviously Alcantara is nasty, but that's a bold one. That's one of those like, hey, it's one of like my things that I would put on Twitter to like troll people and get people talking.
Hey, I don't want to be boring, so I had to throw some out there. And I seen something on Twitter today and I had to throw in Rafaela because he plays second base. The Marlins already have 5 other people that play second base, so on their team.
Right.
So they must like collecting second baseman. So we're gonna give him another one.
Yeah, but dude, so a lot of people, like including Lou Merlone, think he's like they think he's the best defensive center fielder and the best defensive shortstop we have in our organization right now. They think he's that good defensively at both spots. So he's a big piece. I'm telling you right now, if you traded Rafaela, Casas, and Bayo, you could probably get Alcantara for that.
Yeah,
and I'm a no.
I'm not really sure though how much control Miami has on him.
I think he's got at least 4 years.
So yeah, but George, great question. I can't wait to hear what you sit there have to think of my trade.
Yeah, I want to talk to George now on opening day and find out what he thinks, or what he was thinking on that question, whether he was thinking add or subtract, because a lot of people know we have to open up 40 spots. Yeah. So people are thinking about taking something off the roster. I'm wondering if he was thinking like I was thinking, like bullpen help, like, because wake up, our bullpen is pretty sketchy right now.
Yeah, it's in shambles.
So last question that we got asked was from Jeff Wax. If you invited Hein Bloom to your house for a dinner party and cannot talk to him about sports, what do you think the conversation would be like? So DC, let's start off with you.
You would make me go first in this one. Oh man, I'll try to use my right side of the brain for this troll question. I'd probably sit him down, at the table, offer him a beer, talk about life. See how he was doing that day, his goals and aspirations for life. And yeah, that's probably what I'd do.
Not bad. At least you're offering him a little cold beverage. So, Anthony?
Not with the troll.
I was thinking when you said that, I was like, I wonder if he's a beer guy, a wine guy, or like, maybe, a cocktail, or maybe he doesn't drink at all. It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't even drink.
Cognac. That's what he likes. He looks like a cognac.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I see. I can talk to anybody. I've been in sales for a long time. I can literally the first rule of sales is to be successful in sales is get involved in the drama of people's lives. Okay. It's in other words, take interest, become their friend, ask them questions. What people want to talk about is themselves, right? Everybody wants to talk about themselves. So you ask open-ended questions and you get involved in people's lives. It's not just, so I can talk to anybody about anything. And I would love to talk to Chaim Bloom because, I would find out what he drinks and I would find out things about him, and I'd get a little bit, I'd be asking questions about Yale, Skull and Bones. I'd get into conspiracy theories. I'd get into the economy. I would just go down the line and I'd love to get to know Chaim Bloom because I'd like to know who's running my baseball team. Just from a personal level, what type of dude is this? What kind of personality does he really have? So I would actually, how do you take your steak? Are you a medium rare guy or, GTFO?
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta have a steak medium rare.
I'm with you on that one.
You have to have it rare. I mean, come on. Or some people might like it rare. I don't even know, but you need that medium rare, bro. Mm-hmm. What if Chaim Bloom said, I'll have my well done? I'd be like, dude, get out of here. You're not welcome here anymore. What are you, an 8-year-old kid?
But
little things like that, like little personal preferences you can learn about somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Me personally, our man Anthony, he's talking to Chris Heinrich, good friends with him.
Henrique, yep.
Well, we're gonna try to sit there and see if we can get him on, and maybe build the connection. Maybe we can get some contacts. Maybe we get Chaim Bloom on, and we're talking a whole hour to Chaim with nothing to do with baseball.
As Chaim Bloom's biggest defender, okay, why wouldn't he want to talk with me? I mean, maybe he doesn't want to talk to me because I am his biggest defender. He doesn't want to ruin it. But I mean, I was literally the biggest Chaim Bloom defender on the Sports Hub, easily. I mean, it's not even close. People accused me of being Chaim Bloom. People accused me of being friends with Chaim Bloom. I mean, seriously.
Oh man,
it's a natural connection. Come on, Chaim. Where are you at, buddy? Let's talk some prospects.
Let's talk some non-baseball.
Moneyball. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the other thing is music. Music is the language of life. I love to know what kind of music people listen to. I love to get people's reactions to different kind of music and even play some music. I write and play music myself, so I would definitely get the music connection going as well with Chaim Bloom or anybody.
But me personally, if I had Chaim coming over for dinner, first off, we're going to talk how much pressure would it take till he breaks? Because I got to find that out. Because just his first thing was, his first thing that John Henry tells him to do, you got to trade away our franchise player. And you got to do it with a smile. Man, that's a lot of pressure. And he hasn't cracked yet. So that's one of the biggest things I got to sit there and talk, because a lot of people crack under pressure, and I got to find out how he doesn't yet. Like the booze at Winter Weekend, which DC and I are going to next year. We're working really hard. We're going to try to get some credentials too. 10 years from now, I want to be Jared Carabas up there talking. That's my goal. But man, just to sit there and see that aspect of his mental stability, I've got to know.
Well, it's simple too, because what did he do at Winter Weekend? He just basically reiterated everything I said. In other words, he's just speaking the truth. To me, it's so easy to just tell the truth. Mm-hmm. If you're wrong, whatever. But if you believe in something, you just speak the truth. You just speak what's on your mind, speak the truth. And I think that's what he did at Winter Weekend. And a lot of people mocked him for it. Like people said, when he said, hey, we're going to win a championship, not necessarily when, but we're going to win a championship and it's going to be awesome. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying, you know what, we're going to get there. And when we do, everybody's going to be happy. What's wrong with that? It's the truth.
Yeah. I'm sure if you go to a Winter Weekend at the Pittsburgh Pirates, they're telling their people the same thing. they're not believing him, but the Red Sox fan base, the ownership, the GM, the coach, they owe it to the city. John Henry, since he bought the team, brought 4 championships. That's the most in this century.
Absolutely. Also 5 last place finishes though. And this is, I was thinking about this today, Chaim Bloom, I've made this comparison before. He's almost like a Roger Goodell for Sox ownership. In other words, he's the guy taking the bullets for ownership. Okay. Mm-hmm. All that frustration was really geared towards ownership. And he was the one, like a Secret Service agent for John Henry, standing there in the line of fire, taking bullets for ownership when they didn't have good answers to the questions. Chaim Bloom was there protecting ownership, just like Goodell protects the NFL owners. And I'm going to tell you something. He's done a great job doing that, because I guarantee you he's released information. You got to read between the lines. It's not all Chaim Bloom's fault, people. Okay. He's actually done a pretty damn good job. It's not all his fault. Sox ownership has a bad habit of sticking their nose where it doesn't belong in baseball ops. Okay. And they've ruined a lot of situations because of that, feeding the monster, pandering to the fan base and the media and things like that. They don't like a story, so they go and stick their nose into baseball. Stay out of baseball, guys. You write the paychecks. Let us handle the baseball. Okay. That's what I want from John Henry. I don't mind him being an absentee owner. Get out of here. I don't want to see you or hear from you. I don't want you involved in baseball. Just write the checks and let the baseball people win.
Yeah, exactly. So, DC, you had me curious. What are you eating?
You want to know?
I wanted to ask if I didn't want to know. Oh, a little sweet tart. A little
going old school. I haven't had one of those in forever.
I'm a kid at heart. I'm 32, baby, man. 32-year-old baby.
But are you more of like a that type of candy person? Like sweet tarts or Starburst or Skittles, like fruity type candy? Or do you because I'm more of like a chocolate type person.
I'm more of like fruity, like kind of stuff like this. I like chocolate, but I can only have so much of it. I can't really have like a lot of rich stuff. I don't know why. I love a Snickers bar. You know what I mean? Like kind of simple. Wrong, like I'll destroy a Snickers bar. Like,
right. It's a great. It's almost like a meal. It's almost a meal.
Or like I love Kit Kats. Kit Kats, man.
Love Kit Kats. Dude, I anything chocolate. That's what I'm saying. When I say chocolate, I'm not talking about like a box of chocolates like Forrest Gump. I mean like a Snickers, Heath bar. You know what I mean? Like
if I had to choose, I'd go fruity
Almond
over
Joy.
Chocolate, but I love.
Yeah. You know what I can get down on? Some Nerds.
Yo,
ooh.
Dude. I love Nerds. You get a little double pack, 2 flavors. You're freaking pouring them in.
Yeah, I love anything sour. I love.
Right. They go 2 flavors. So you got one. Yeah. So remember those things, Mega Warheads? Remember those?
Yeah.
Those were crazy, dude. We used to go after school and they used to have candy stores. They used to have like a penny candy store. You'd go in and you just grab. I mean, it was great. Times have changed, man. I do not envy kids these days. I love the time I grew up in, like, late 80s, early. I love the 90s, before the internet, before all the technology. I'm glad
I'd ride your bike, shit like that,
dude,
man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we talked about, right? Skinning your knee, like flying off the handles. You hit the curb, you fly off your bike, you're skinning your knee. Maybe you're concussed. You rub some dirt on it. You go back out there, right? That's what it's all about.
Pedals to your shin.
Yeah, man. That's how you get tough. These kids nowadays, oh my God. If they can't even handle being in second place, they can't even handle. I mean, they can't handle anything. They can't handle social interactions. So
they didn't see the Aaron Boone walk-off home run. So
no, nothing. They didn't see any of it. If you see, I was thinking about that today too, man. Like, how can you even be a Red Sox fan, like, taken seriously, if you didn't like witness the World Series in 2004? Like, if you didn't witness, so if you weren't born. Like, if you were born after like 95, 96, I don't even know, like late 90s, whatever. I mean, it's hard to have that perspective. If you grew up, same thing with the Patriots, man. It's nothing but winning.
Yep.
You can't grow up in that and be like a normal fan.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be spoiled. You're going to be entitled.
Man, there was this guy at work, and Anthony just did a great transition to our closing. There's a guy at work I told, hey, guess who we got on the podcast coming on this week? He goes, who? I said, Keith Polk. He's like, who? Now, he's a Yankees fan. And I sit there and said, the guy, 2004 World Series, soft toss to the first baseman to end it. He goes, I know him now. Because it's so monumental. That 04 soft toss right to the first baseman, game over, series over. I can't wait until Wednesday so we can sit and talk to him. Like,
and we're going to talk some about 04 World Series, obviously.
mm-hmm.
We're going to talk just maybe a little bit of a personal, like I'd like to know just his journey to kind of the majors, but we want to talk some baseball with Keith Folk as well. Mm-hmm. We're going to really talk some baseball, and we're going to tie it in to this year's Red Sox team with a lot of our pitchers who are kind of in between starting and relieving, whether we're talking about specific pitch types, you know, lots of different things, baseball strategy. We're talking about working with Veritech. There's so much to really hit on with Keith Folk that's going to tie into this team about baseball. So like, if you're not tuned into this, you're just not a baseball fan. You're not a Red Sox fan.
Exactly. So
this literally is going to turn into one of the best podcasts, if not the best podcast out there.
Yeah. So,
and we appreciate the early support from people like George.
Yeah. So Wednesday, we're bringing the closer, Keith Folk. But today, we're bringing in the closer. Some closing thoughts. Anthony, hit us with some closing thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you know my tradition of watching opening day. I used to skip school when I was a kid. It's just a national holiday for me. It's like, it's different. You know what I mean? Maybe football, because it's on a Sunday, it's a little different, but like there's something about baseball. You know what? If it's on a Thursday at 2, I'm going to be there. I don't care. It's opening day. It's a national holiday as far as I'm concerned. I love opening day. There's just something special about it. And I love baseball. I love the Red Sox. I'm telling you right now, I said it today on Twitter, anybody who doesn't think our bullpen is pretty sketchy right now is whistling past the graveyard. I hope the Red Sox front office isn't that naive as some of these fans are, that don't realize that we're hanging pretty thin right now with this bullpen. A couple of things don't go our way, we're in trouble. And we know how Alex Cora handles the bullpen as well. So that's my closing thought is my number one concern with this team going into the season is the bullpen.
Yeah. DC,
which is shocking after what we did this offseason.
Too much to talk about. I mean, obviously excited for everything that's going to be coming up this next week. We got a busy week. I think we're doing 3 pods this week, 3 in 4 days, which is going to be pretty nuts. Yeah, I mean, bullpen scares me. I'm just excited for opening day though. Trying to get past that, not think about it too much, and just get to the first game. One thing to think about that I wanted to bring up before when we talked about WBC, I think I read it on Twitter somewhere. I can't remember where or who posted it. But if Jarren Duran doesn't make the tournament, I wonder if he's going to regret playing in the WBC. I mean, he didn't really have too much time, and then this was a pretty important spring training for him. So to not come in and fight for the position, I don't know if that's going to hurt him. Obviously, I know Alex Cora is big on the WBC. I don't think he'd punish him for it, but I think it definitely hurt him in the long end. I just want to kind of put that little tidbit in there. But yeah, overall, man, I'm excited for opening day. Just want to shore up the bullpen with the one strength that we had. It's not a strength any longer. It's a weakness. But let's see Corey Kluber, see what he can do, and then get Chris Sale the next day, and let's start off the season well. I mean, I think we got Orioles and Pirates, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Man, I'm going to sit there and reiterate my last week, and I got to sit there and just keep pushing it. Just throw some dirt on it, guys. Play through those injuries. Come back quick. Justin Turner, he did it, and look how good he looks. So suck it up, throw some dirt on it, and just push through like we're going to all the way to Wednesday when we bring on the legendary closer, Keith Folk. Sox Addicts also going to be joining us. Glad she's coming back. She's going to be on our opening day live show. It'll be myself, Anthony, DC, and 7 of our closest, semi-closest friends we got here in Red Sox Nation. So, guys.
And Josh.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I keep forgetting he's an Orioles fan.
He's one of my day ones, though. I've known him since I was 5, so I'm excited to have him on here.
DC, throw a plug.
I'm excited to see because he really knew his Orioles stuff. So we already kind of broke down the Orioles, and now we get to kind of see a lot of that,
Yeah, DC
in action.
Let's throw out Josh's podcast. I hope you can pronounce that word that he called it. It is a new podcast. He's coming out. First episode drops this Tuesday. It's our sister podcast for all you Orioles fans out there, or just a fan of baseball in general. So, DC, I'm gonna hopefully let you take it from here.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to say this. I'm probably gonna butcher it. Ornithologically correct. I don't know, but
ornithologically
correct.
Ornithologically.
Yeah, man. Give him a follow. I've known him since I was 5 years old. He's a really knowledgeable dude across all sports, not even just the Orioles. He's just fun to talk sports with. Really good dude, and I mean, I think he proved his knowledge of the Orioles, when he was on. So, if you want to give him a little banter back and forth, some friendly banter, but please welcome him to our team. He's a good dude. He's gonna be a great asset to this team, and I'm excited to see what he does, and goes with his podcast.
It's a clever name.
Show him some love.
It's a clever name. I just looked it up. It's the branch of zoology that deals with birds.
Yeah, man, he's a really clever dude, man. It's crazy.
I like it. Getting creative.
Intelligent guy. Yeah.
He ain't screwing around.
Nope. I'm excited. He's part of the team.
Yeah, he followed me. I saw that, and I followed him back, obviously. But I saw that he created an account for that on Twitter, so I'm gonna check that out. I like to stay abreast for all the AL East teams. I always track my own division, regardless of sport. Keep an eye on my own division, especially the Yankees, obviously. But now everybody's good, so.
Yeah, and we got some great writers, podcasters coming on from other teams. Well, we've already had signed to come on for special appearances. Can't wait for them. But man, the Pesky Podcast here is expanding our brand. We're doing exceptionally well. Better than I thought after 7 episodes. This is episode 8. And I'm glad that we made great friends. DC and I already knew each other beforehand. We got a great new friend with Anthony on the Cape. We got Sox Addict. We got George Sutherland. We got Taylor.
It's great too because, like you guys were talking about going to winter weekend next year. It's like I'll definitely join. You know what I mean? Like in other words, like it's good to know people who are interested in like you were saying coming up this year. I want to go to. George lives in Maine. When Marcelo Meyer gets promoted to Portland, I want to go up there and see him. Maybe I can get autographs. Maybe I can get I'm not even really. I just want to go and see this guy play his first game for Portland as soon as he gets promoted. And it's like I like to network and meet people, from around. But like that's the thing. Like I didn't really know about the winter weekend until the last minute, and I didn't have any plans. So because they hadn't had it for a few years, right? This is the first year they had it since before COVID, and it'd be great to like kind of get together and do sort of stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So guys, check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Hit us up on Instagram. We're trying to expand over there and get big over there. But Twitch, DC and we're gonna be sitting there playing periodically. Maybe we can get Anthony on to play some MLB The Show.
Yeah. I might scoop it up just to dominate you guys.
So guys, check it out. But this episode has been great. The next one's going to be better. But I am the Ritt. There's DC, Anthony on the Cape. Thanks for listening to the Pesky Podcast. See you next time.